Everything that you have been told about aligned action is wrong. I have studied 111 manifestation coaches, including the people who are not alive, such as Napoleon Hill, Andrew Carnegie, or who really tapped into the spiritual and manifestation principles. And at the same time, what I did is I've studied 500 ultra rich billionaires, millionaires, multimillionaires in every industry. And what I found is that there is this golden thread of inspired action, which both of these people talk about, but from a completely different angle. But when you actually connect it, you tap into your magical zone. You tap into that zone where every action is a hit, is a shot, is a sixer, is a complete powerful step that takes you towards your vision 100 times faster and collapse time like anything. What I realized was that when people start manifesting, including myself, the biggest question that we have is when we start consciously manifesting that, am I doing enough? Should I be doing more? What if I'm not doing enough and I'm missing something, or I'm not being more productive, or I think I should be taking more actions? And we get into this constant spiral, this inner critic, which becomes louder and louder, constantly criticizing. When I experienced that my inner critic was constantly saying, you're not having this because you don't do enough, you should be doing more, I went into that phase of my life where I was doing a lot more. And I started measuring my receiving with action. How can I do more? How can I take 20 actions? How can I do things faster? And what I realized was that it did not impact my receiving. It did not impact my income at all. In fact, I was just burnt out. I wasn't enjoying what I was doing. In fact, the things that I was creating, they were not fun. They were not even great. They were just like I was on this belt of the factory machine, just turning things around. And then I went on the other side, right? Where I was like, I need to stop doing everything, and I need to go in my feminine, in my receiving, and I'm not going to do anything. And that's when I realized, but this is a bit weird. My income hasn't changed still, which is a bit shocked that my income is still the same, whether I do so much or I don't do anything. But what is the deal? Like, how does it work? And that's when I realized that inspired action is the most misunderstood. So whether you want to call it aligned, some people call it aligned, some people call it inspired, but this is the most misunderstood thing on the planet. And when we really tap into it in the right way, when we crack the formula, which I did after connecting the dots between these two people who are either teaching this from spirituality principle or who are unconscious competitors, they just don't know what they are, but they're ultra successful. And if you ask them, they just say, I work hard. No, that's not true. If working hard took you where you wanted to be, you'd be a bajillionaire by now. So that's not true, right? The key is there is this formula. When you connect the dots, you find this thing that these both have, which tap into that magic zone where every action becomes magic. Whether what you do, what you don't do, how much you do, it's not the point, right? And I want to share with you this formula in an opposite way. So I'm not going to share with you from do this and this and this. What I'm going to share with you is in the upside down way, which will make it land 100 times more powerful. And at the end of this, what you'll have is you'll have the way to crack the magical zone for you, where every action becomes literally trillion times more powerful. What is inspired action? Like, where are we getting to with this formula? What state do we want to achieve? There is a state which some people call magical zone, some people call I'm in the zone, some people call it's just everything turns into gold, where you are not even working. You are being more, and you're just in your zone. It's like you're having this ecstasy, this euphoric experience where it's not even about the work, it's about your expression. It's like you're pouring your heart and soul, you're pouring your love, you're in this, like, you're wild, you're unstoppable, you're unfiltered, you are just this, like, this completely untethered and unleashed version. It's just magic. It's no more about getting it right, having it accurate, doing it right. It's about, like, just unleashed and crazy and wild. And you see those people probably on Instagram, on internet, or on sessions or master classes, or maybe in different places in top of the industry, and you see like they have this bold and courageous, this signature which stops everything, which stops you in your tracks, and you're like, how do they do it? What is so different, right? And this is what inspired action is. If you think of one of my favorite singers is Beyonce, right? And when I heard her song Spirit for the very first time, it was like, oh my God, Spirit, like that song is just incredible. That song, the vibe, the feeling, the thing that it activated within me, I was in a different dimension completely, right? And maybe you have this song that you absolutely love, but it's not about that Beyonce just worked so hard and she constantly, because if that was the case, anybody could do that, right? Anybody. The hardest people who work are the one who are actually struggling the most. They're putting in the most hours. But she tapped into that magical zone where that song was her expression of her truest essence, her magic, her vibration, her it's like she's just flowing and it's just magically coming out, and it's not even about enough or it's about better or less, like it's her signature. There are so many singers on this planet who have been ultra successful, who have come and gone and who have shared their art, but it's not even about is it better than that person. It's about it's her signature. It just takes your breath away. It just connects with the deeper core of who you are, because it's that inspired from her spirit. It's God channeling through her, or source or spirit, whatever name you want to use. So similarly with movies, like some movies you watch and you're like, this is the greatest movie of the lifetime. But does it mean there haven't been movies before? Does it mean they were not better movies? They were. But it's just there is something about them. There just is. It's magic. You cannot explain it with your logic. That is the inspired action that you want to get to. That's the inspired action. And it doesn't come by working hard. It doesn't come by doing more. It doesn't come by doing nothing. Then what is it? It comes by your balance. Balance, the very fine balance, which every person has. It's very unique, between masculine, the doing, and the feminine, the being. And it applies to men and female at the same time. Just because I'm saying masculine and feminine doesn't mean you can choose masculine if you're a man and feminine if you're a woman. The only difference is you will have your own unique balance. But if you really want to tap into that magical zone, the shortest way to do is by your identity. Your identity can help you escape all the dimensions of time and tap into the highest timeline, where is the greatest, the most powerful, the best of you. So what you can do is you can tap into that version, bring it in the now, be it. First of all, you need to really know what it is. See it in your imagination, access it, tap into it. You know what that version is. That's the crazy part, because it's already within you. So remember, when I was doing the identity work with one of my client, and he wrote his script and he was doing all the tools. And then he was said to me that, how come you didn't tell me anything about the best of me? It all came through me, although you facilitated the whole thing, you helped me extract it and all of that. But how come I knew about it all this time? And I said to him, because you are that person. That's why you knew it. You tap into that person. You ask yourself, the question is, who am I now? How do I see myself now? And what is the best of me? What is the best of me? I'm going to give you an example. Let's say I'm recording this video right now. I'm recording this video for you to watch. Now, if when I'm starting out, I would see myself as a starter and say, yeah, I'm starting to do YouTube. It's going well, but I'm trying to be good. What kind of identity and energy I would have? Versus if I say, even when I'm starting out, although I'm not starting out right now, but I still do this work and go to my highest identity and come from there every single time. But even if somebody's starting out, if you are starting out, or maybe you are okay, but you would love to be really good and attract a lot of money and value, create a lot of value and impact, what you can say is, you can say, what is the most powerful, successful, magnetic, out of this world version, right? And you tap into that and you feel it. You start thinking like them, you start feeling like them, you start acting like them. What will be the energy of what you'll create? as I'm doing this, what is the energy of the video that I'm creating? How am I feeling? What I've done is I have collapsed time and tap into that version of me. And that version has given me a new perspective of me, a new perspective of me, a new persona, a new being, a new vibration, a new kind of identity that I can act in alignment. And then when I do that, when I do whatever action, it is a match for incredible result because it has that frequency, it has that identity, it has that knowing, that consciousness. And that's how every action of yours can become inspired masterpiece action, because what you're doing is you're tapping into that identity. Inspired action is not about doing more, clearly not about doing more, because if you do more, your quality turns to become coming out of the bed. When you see like in the large production line, it's just, if you think of like Ford, right? It comes from this large production line, this is coming. If you look at like Rolls-Royce, they make every Rolls-Royce really in a signature way, in a very personalized way. It takes 6 months to make a Rolls-Royce, like very, very elegant and very specifically designed for you. Is a masterpiece, right? You want to be the Rolls-Royce of your industry. You don't want to be the Rolls-Royce, or you don't want to be the production of all the businesses, like one of the person nobody knows about. You want to stand out, you want to be you, you want to be the best of you. You tap into that identity, and then the same action that you would do from the Ford identity, you can do with the Rolls-Royce identity, and you can bring that masterpiece. And that's when less action creates more. So one of the other identities, especially for my masculine, when I say masculine, what I mean is doers who want to do more, who want to take massive action, and they're constantly focusing on doing more. One of the identity you can take is less is more. Less is more. So what if instead of doing 10 things, you do 3, but the way you do it and the version of you and how you see it is so good. And again, we can come back to Beyonce. Think of a person who sings, who releases 10 songs every month, like 20 songs every month, and all of them go flat. And Beyonce does 3 songs or does an album after a while, and it's like hits the jackpot, right? It's not about more. It's about who you are when you're doing it and what timeline of identity you are tapping into. And you have got access to the best of you right now. It's within you. And if you're wondering, Anam, do you have a formula? Do you have like a specific way, step by step, how I can tap into that identity? How about I share with you my signature step that I take my highest ticket client, which I called income set point breaker, which is my signature identity method that I teach my highest ticket clients. What if I share with you for absolutely free? If you want to tap into your highest identity so that whatever action you do is a masterpiece, it's the greatest magic ever existed. It's magical. Nobody can explain it. You can't explain it. You just do it and it hits the jackpot every single time. It turns everything into gold. You want to tap into the process to activate your highest timeline identity. This way, when you become the highest timeline version of you, you unlock the highest timeline reality and you collapse time. This is how you collapse time, by tapping into the greatest self, in your greatest self. You can access it in the description, in the link. My team will post it there. You can integrate it now, watch it, integrate it, and unlock your greatest identity. And when you unlock your greatest identity, your identity knows on autopilot how much is required. What do you need to do? And that's when everything you do becomes incredible, out of this world, and you do less and you receive more. Because more is not more. Being more is a quantum leap. And I'll see you very soon.